Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So normally Jamie hosts the Universal show, but we figured with the allergies and everything, I'll do the hosting and ease Jamie's voice in the allergy concerns.
I mean, it happens every year, and I'm just dealing with it, the worst of it now. So hopefully I'll be, back to hosting the next Universal episode. So today, Jared is my knight in shining podcast armor.
Knight in shining podcast armor.
Yeah.
I feel valued.
Thank
I
you.
do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't normally talk in front of a microphone, but I will figure it out.
What are you going to do?
I will hopefully not get stage fright on here. Well, since you normally ask a question, I will ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't ask you this question
I have
before,
no idea what this is.
so it could be anything.
Yeah. Okay.
What is your opinion on Universal's security, the way they do it? Do you like it? Has it changed? Because for me, I used to like how Universal did it before Disney switched over to those machines. And since then, it's not that Universal's is terrible, but it's not nearly as quick or easy as like Disney's is.
So, I guess it depends on, first of all, when you go, like if you go into City Walk, if you go that way, if it's long lines, it can take a while to get through. With Disney now, with their system, it's better, like you were saying. I don't know. It's fine if it's not busy. You know what I mean? But it is a hassle to take everything out and put the bags and put all the change and the wallets and everything into the little bins to get through the conveyor belt. So you'll still have to do that. And then they still have to check the stroller, and then you go through the metal detectors. So it's just a more lengthy process. So, I mean, do I wish they would adopt what Disney has? Sure. But I think that, especially when it comes to like Halloween Horror Nights, I think they do more of a lengthy checking because there's a lot of teens. There's a lot of teens that come alone, and there's a lot of,
ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah, just because the nature of the event is a little more, I would say, risky.
That's true.
If you will, just more that vibe. So I think they just have to be more diligent about that. But I don't know if that means that like Disney system wouldn't be good for that. I don't know.
Well, I know the system Disney uses, you can adjust the sensitivity on those machines. So if you wanted to find more things, you could.
Then use that then.
I am curious what they'll do at Epic. If they're going to have more of an updated system, or they're going to still have the same thing they have at City Walk. And if they do that, do they change it on City Walk as well? That's just that's one of those things where I used to not really think about it too much. And, but sometimes when you go through there and it is a long line, you're just like,
yeah.
And I hate you got to take everything out of your pockets. Like, it's just a little bit more of an inconvenience. But I do wonder, say what they do with Epic and how they handle all that. But that was my question that I had. But we actually just got back from Universal yesterday.
Yeah.
We checked out the brand new Terra Luna Resort.
Yeah.
Which is the newest Universal hotel, the sister hotel to Stella Nova. They are next door neighbors. So we're going to be talking about that on this show. We're going to give a full review of Terra Luna, what we thought about it, and then what do we think, Stella Nova or Terra Luna. If you're looking at those two hotels, if you're looking to stay there, which one would we recommend? Maybe some different, situations, what you might think about. We also have some more Epic Universe news because there's constantly news about Epic Universe, and that's what we're going to talk about here as well. But before we get to the news and our Terra Luna review, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you would like to, you can find us over on YouTube at CTM Podcast, where we have video versions of the show. We also have show clips you can check out over there. And if you would also like to become a member on YouTube, you can do that now as well. If you like what we're doing, want to become part of a little club over there and have some special perks, you can do that. We greatly would appreciate that if you would. And of course, if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form, you can find us on all of the major platforms out there. Just search Capture the Magic Universal, and you will find us there. We also have some of the Universal shows on the other channel that is the Disney podcast one, but once we go weekly with this show, which is going to be in the next couple of months, we are just going to have the Universal show on one feed and the Disney show on another. So they will be separated so they don't fight with each other.
Yes.
We want to keep peace here. I guess we'll try it that way. And of course, if you're looking for some great theme park apparel, You want to look snazzy and comfortable in the parks and at home? You can check out Capture the Magic Apparel over at ctmapparelco.com. We design everything in-house. We print it in-house. We ship it out to you from our loving hands. Well, Jamie's loving hands. I print them, and then Jamie puts extra care on top of that. But we have some great designs, very comfortable shirts. We have comfort colors. We have next level poly cotton blends, hoodies, sweatshirts, whatever you would like a shirt on, we can do that for you. And right now, you can still save 15% off of your order by using the promo code MARCH. And plus, if you order $50 or more, you get free shipping on top of that. So you can save some money that way. And by being a listener, again, you get to use the promo code MARCH and get 15% off of your order. And if you want to check that out, you go to ctmapparelco.com and we'll get you some great shirts sent right out to you. And they'll be fantastic. So there you go. All right, well, let's get to the news. So the first part here is mostly just Epic Universe stuff. So Epic Universe Express Passes, VIP tours, and more were announced and now on sale.
So Express Passes start at $129.99 for a one-day pass at Epic. That's just 1 day, one visit per attraction for a full day is available right now. They do not have unlimited express passes available for this park.
At least not yet.
At least not yet. Opening date was priced at $260 per person, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
And it has since sold out. So I think that's the only date that's sold out is the opening day. All the other days are sold out for single price tickets. You could also buy 2, 3, 4, and 5 day express passes to be used with Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, and Epic Universe that start at $59 per day for the 5-day pass. So the more days you get, the less amount it is per day. So that can be a really good deal if you've got a longer trip coming up, but you can use all of those at all 3 parks. Now, I have a question about that. Do you have to can you use them all at Epic Universe if you wanted to?
Well,
or do you have to use them at each one?
I doubt it, because if you look at the vacation packages are 1 day at Epic. So I would assume
I see.
If you're purchasing that within a package, it would just be 1 day at Epic and the other ones at the other parks. But
so what if you were an annual pass holder and you bought 3 days of single day Epic passes and you got a 3-day express pass? Could you do that?
I don't know. You might. I don't know.
They're not connected to the tickets.
Right.
They're separate.
You may have to call or try it online. I don't know. I haven't tried that because we're not doing Express Pass for this. So I don't actually know the answer to that. That's a good question.
I would assume that you can, or if you just bought single day tickets, to say you wanted like 2 days Epic, you could probably get 2 days of an Express Pass with Epic. I don't know. I would that would be what I would do if I could. If I had to do that. Yeah.
I mean, really, if you look at it, if you're able to get $59 per day, that's a pretty good value.
Starts that.
Well, yeah, but like considering, and I've said this before, I do think Universal's Express Pass system is the best cut the line system out there. I think it's much better than Disney's system just because it's limited in quantity.
Yeah.
You don't have to schedule anything. You walk up, you can get in the line and go, and it's very, very easy. It doesn't require you to plan reservations ahead of time, and it works very well while also not impacting the standby lines as much because there's not as many of them walking around because they do sell out of these. So, if you look at, compared to Premier Pass at Disney, even the $260 is a steal because the highest price at Disney for Magic Kingdom is like $400 per person that operates the same way. Now, you have more attractions at Magic Kingdom, but
the $260 is around the price you would pay for like Epcot.
Right.
So if that's what you're kind of equating it to, I guess. But
yeah, well, one thing I will say, they did put a little. They didn't make a big deal about it. They said basically it would be biometric scan because I think what they're going to implement, because if you've been at Universal and we were just there at basically all of the entrances now at all the attractions, you see the cameras that are set up. They're not working yet for facial scans for Express Pass. I think they're going to implement this at all the parks once Epic opens. And I think they're going to do away with, you don't have to scan your room key or your actual card. They're just going to do a facial recognition.
Will they use your fingerprint?
They have cameras set up.
They don't have to.
They got they got rid of the fingerprints to enter.
That's true.
When we went into the park at Islands of Adventure, it was I didn't have to scan my card at all. It was just facial recognition.
Yeah.
So and it worked very well. So
That's so crazy.
I think they're going to be implementing that all over the place, and I think they'll do it in the existing parks as well. So I think that's how that system will work.
That's so crazy.
And it was a little word they put in there, and
I did not get that.
It said via biometric scan, and I was like, oh, there it is. So.
I mean, that's probably a good call. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that would probably take advantage of this system.
It's that, and also convenience if you just stand there and scan your face. Yeah. And it does work very well. I will give them that. So
yeah.
But I'm not. I don't know if that's not. I don't know if that's officially confirmed. But those cameras are up everywhere. They are going to use them at some point.
Yeah.
So I would look for that to happen.
And at Epic Universe specifically, there are 3 attractions that are not included in the Express Pass. That is Minecart Madness, which is in Super Nintendo World. That is Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, which is in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And then Dragon Racers Rally, which is Isle of Berk. So those 3 will not be in the Express Pass system yet.
I was surprised to see Dragon Racers Rally, but I think that's due to ride capacity.
Yeah.
Very similar to Minecart Madness, but also couple that with that is an all ages attraction that's going to be very popular in Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
These 3 could also be the ones that you see in terms of rides for virtual lines. This could be the prime candidate for those as well, if they run virtual lines.
And as far as Battle of the Ministry goes, guys, it's going to be a couple years before that one is out of into Express.
Oh, it's going to be a while.
Because all Harry Potter rides do that.
I mean, Hagrid's is still not part of it, and that ride's been open for 6 years.
Not part of it. And since we did mention Hagrid's, I'll go ahead and mention this now. They still do have a single rider line. And it's just not advertised anymore. And you can't directly get into single rider from the entrance. So what they're doing now,
you have to fight a troll at a stop, and
there is a one point right before you enter the building, the actual like Hagrid's like castle building, where you can get into the single rider line. You can even get to a little bit earlier than that, but there are just roped off. You can just go around the rope and get in the single rider line. So it does exist. They just do not advertise it anymore, and they won't let you get in it at the entrance. It's very strange.
Interesting.
It's very strange. So just FYI, that is something we encountered this past weekend.
We should say our daughter finally rode Hagrid's, and she
did.
And she loved it.
She did. We waited 75 minutes for that ride, and it was like at park closing, so it was dark. And first time she ever rode it, she was so nervous. It's been, years since we tried to get her to do it, and she just wasn't ready. She was ready this year, and she did great. She was just like, oh, I'm so shaky when she got off the ride. But she did so good. So I'm proud of her. And I have another riding buddy for Hagrid's, Jared, and now our daughter. Our son, we'll see about him. I don't know if he'll be ready for that soon, but
we'll get him on there at some point. Yeah. Whether or not he ever wants to come back to that building again, we will see. But usually can get him on one time, and then after that, he's just like, no, I'm not doing
I will not do that.
At some point, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it was great.
Yes. Also about the other things they announced, the VIP tours being part of that, which we mentioned. These will be available starting May 23rd.
So not opening day.
They're like, we don't want to start off with too much here.
Not doing VIP tours.
I think they're going to have all hands on deck for employees and team members that first day probably. And they're like, we don't want to handle tours just in case something happens.
Opening day is insane. So yeah. So that starts at $389.99 per person. It's a 4-hour 1-park tour or a 7-hour 2-park tour. And you get VIP priority access to rides and attractions during the tour. And you also get valet parking included.
We already get valet parking included because we're premier pass holders.
We wouldn't get valet for Epic, would we?
I don't know.
We don't none of the. That's the thing. We've been talking about this pretty much ad nauseum about our annual pass and being an annual pass holder for Universal, but not this new park. What perks or benefits or anything, if any, do we have?
I mean, I think discounts will be part of it.
You think so?
I'm going to assume. I would assume. This is just me making a guess. Okay. But yeah, that's a good question because I have become very, I will just say, spoiled on the valet access being a premier pass holder because we're talking about the security line. I mean, you go valet, you have your own little security line you go to, then you're just right in City Walk.
There's never anybody there.
It's one of the best perks of the premier pass holder. On top of you get our express pass after 4:00 is a great perk as well.
Yep.
And no blackout dates and things like that.
That's
but good. There are still some questions about Epic Universe that haven't been laid out fully. A lot of people asked about the accessibility things and things like that. I don't think it's going to be any different than the regular park, but those are some details that they have yet to announce. But also with the VIP tours, you get Express Pass with it as well.
I mean, you get on your VIP tour guide gets you onto the ride.
Right.
You don't actually have Express.
It's a form of Express.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you do get to ride things on top of that. Which
Plus you get information too.
I would like to do that tour at some point because I would love to see the behind the scenes of Epic Universe and everything like that. So
that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. But in some news that is probably disappointing for some and happy for others is team member previews have been yet again extended for Epic Universe, team member and family previews until April 16th.
Yeah, so they stopped at April 5th before. That was going to be the last day for team member previews with their families. And so they extended it again because this is the second extension or third extension.
This
they
is
just keep
the
extending.
second extension.
Yeah, so the park will be open until 10 for this new like phase of previews. And this is the first time it can be seen at night. So team members will get to see like the lighting and the effects and the Chronos we know has the cool lighting effects, the lighting effects in the fountain. I mean, Jared knows more about this than I do, but I just kind of observe.
Oh, I'm so excited for this park at night. Yeah, but at night, I mean, the lighting package in there, it looks phenomenal. And I've obviously like Dark Universe at night. Like there's just certain lands at night and areas where you're just like, I want to see this at night. So that's a cool thing if you're going to be able to go to that. I did get word of this. We were at Universal and I had like 4 messages from some team members that reach out to me from time to time. And they're basically just like, hey, just FYI, I just got an email. Like, they got extended and I wasn't able to make a video or talk about it, but I was just like, oh, okay. Cause I was hoping that maybe AP previews, which I think the reason for this, it makes sense from a business theme park standpoint. As a fan, I can be disappointed because obviously a lot of us annual pass holders would like to hear about annual pass holder previews, but a lot of the things I've heard from team members that have gone is there's still some things that need to be tightened up in the park, like some of the operations, some of the rides are still not continuously running, some of the food kiosks aren't even up yet, some final touches on some of the theming stuff. So there's still some kinks they need to work out, and it makes sense to do this with the most controlled feedback group you have, which is your own employees and their families. The moment you open this up to annual pass holders, which is still a friendlier group, but there's still going to be, that's more general public. Even if they'd say, hey, this is all like a preview, this is all like, rehearsal, you could potentially, if there's issues that pop up, all of a sudden a rhetoric starts up about the park before it's even open. And I think the last thing they want is bad word of mouth going around about things, even though people are like, hey, it's a preview mode, but someone's going to be mad they weren't able to ride a ride or something like that and really, general public stuff. So it makes sense that to use this time to tighten things up a bit more. I get it. So hopefully, I mean, at this point, it's likely if there are, and Universal has said there will be annual pass holder previews, it's likely it will just be around a month.
It looks like it.
So not sure how they would set them up or work them, but it looks like if they do happen, which every indication out there that they will, they'll be about a month. But
all right. I mean, and also to something that we wanted to, I don't know how true this is, so I'm just going to call this a rumor. The rumor is that the Harry Potter and the Battle of Ministry ride was running for a couple hours on Saturday. Now this is significant because it hasn't been running for anybody for I think forever. Like none of the team members have written it.
That is correct. I have no confirmation on this. Nor
do I, but I've heard it from a couple people.
What I do know about Battle of the Ministry is it has had issues. Like they've been able to get 4, maybe 5 ride vehicles going at the same time. This one is supposed to have, I believe, 15 to 20 max ride vehicles going at the same time. So obviously, only having 4 or 5, your ride capacity is vastly limited. And they've been really trying to figure out this issue. Every time they fix one, another issue pops up. And it seems to be something to do with the coding on the ride or something like that. So it's not the ride mechanics itself. It's something to do with the computers basically getting it to work. So team members, as of now, up until maybe this rumor is true, they've been able to walk through the queue and see that inside the building, but not actually ride the ride. I'd also heard that they may be extending team member previews because they want this ride running for annual pass holder previews and media day. Obviously, this is a headlining attraction. So they may just be trying to put that off until they get this issue fixed, which obviously you want it running by opening day for sure. Yeah. This is one reason why I think this ride is going to be a virtual line type of ride, just because, like we saw with like Rise of the Resistance, some other rides, if there's ride capacity issues, it makes total sense to do virtual line. Or if it's not reliable, that way, you don't have to exit out an entire queue, have controlled groups and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll wait and see. Maybe, I mean, if it is running more, we'll hear about it.
Yeah.
So on social media.
People are not quiet.
They're not. But Team, for the most part, I mean, people are giving general thoughts on things and some tidbits here and there, but you're not supposed to have any pictures, which some people have been ignoring. But
yes,
I tell you how they're doing it, by the way. It's those Meta glasses.
I know.
If they can't ban sunglasses.
Don't be sneaky, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just don't start banning sunglasses here. Let's just all do what we're supposed to do here.
And also, like, don't just go on social media or whatever platform and just give like hour-long reviews of your experience, like in the park. Like, don't do that. Like, just keep quiet.
Don't do it during a time period where you're not supposed to reveal. Like, you're supposed to be quiet about it.
Yeah,
basically.
be like, if you're chasing clout, like, congratulations, you got it for 2 seconds, and then no one's gonna remember.
I love clout.
Ugh.
I'm always chasing it. It's my white dragon. I chase so much clout. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I feel like if somebody called me an influencer, I'd just be like, what did you say?
Mm-hmm.
I will.
What did you say?
I will fight you, sir. That is repropos. Is that a word? Repropos?
I don't know.
I'm just saying it. It's a thing. All right, last couple things we have for news is the Universal released more information about the Darkmoor Monster makeup experience.
Yeah, so they give us a little bit of a glimpse into what you can get. It looks like you can get like the Wolfman, you can get the Frankenstein, a lot of like monster makeup basically. And they were kind of testing this at Universal Studios. What was it, like last year?
Yeah.
They did a kind of a test. It wasn't to this extent that we were seeing in these pictures that Universal released, but it's very involved and it's very like elaborate. So you can do the experiment version, that's face makeup only. That's $45 plus tax per person. Or you can get a transformation ticket,
which is being transformed,
which is face makeup and all the accessories that come with it. And that's $169 per adult or $109 per child. So, this looks pretty cool.
It's like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for monsters.
It's fancy face painting,
It is kind of fancy face painting.
Fancy face painting with more.
It's bougie face painting.
It's bougie face painting.
Yeah.
But seems that the people that they're using are very good at what they're doing because, again, the pictures they were showing were super awesome. So
I wouldn't
do this for me, but
I'm going to assume and hope that they would be very good for
Jared.
$170 per person. But yes, it has looked good.
You.
But yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean, I think a lot of people will probably do it. I'm very curious about the sweating in the heat if it stays on. Maybe they're using special makeup. It's sweat resistant. But yeah, so you probably see a lot of that. I imagine our daughter, she's into face painting. I don't know if she's into monster face painting though.
I don't know about this one. I don't know about this specifically. Maybe like if they had some in like Super Nintendo World, painted like a Mario or something.
I might want to do that if they did that.
Okay.
I mean, I know all kids, they see face painting and they're like, I need to do this. And you're like, no.
Like Bowser.
Yeah. All of them. Like face painting for kids, it's like it's like their catnip. They just want to go for it. But all right, the last thing in news we have is Universal Orlando also released the first official and professional photos of Inside Epic Universe. And they look fantastic. And it looks very, very, very close to the concept art. Like, I think that's the overall rhetoric of like, wow. Like, it looks almost identical, but I think it actually looks better than the concept art, personally speaking.
So they were showing, somebody was showing side-by-sides of the concept art to the actual photos that were taken inside Epic Universe.
Well, I think that was my boy Slimer from OG Orange Grove 55 that did that.
Oh,
the side by side.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think that was him that put that together.
Oh, okay, cool. And so, while they're like tiny, tiny little differences in between each of the concept art and the actual photos, the one that looked insanely similar, then I was just like, oh, this looks like it's the art is Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
Like, I was just looking, I was like, am I looking at the video game? No. This is the actual land. So it just gets me more excited for the park to open, to be honest. To actually be standing in it. It's insane.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree.
I also wanted to mention too, I talked to a team member who got to do Epic. He's been 3 times now, I think. And he said that his favorite land is the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. He said it just puts you in a different world. Like you feel like you're in the movies. You feel like you're in this world. And he's like, I was a big fan as a kid, and I've just kind of grown up with it. And he said that like he spent like 4 hours just walking around, looking at everything, looking at the shops, looking at like eating the food. Like he spent so much time in there, and he's like, it's insane. You're gonna be amazed. I was like, okay.
I heard very similar from a couple. I had a couple of conversations at Terra Luna, and both of them said that Isle of Berk was a surprise for them. That in terms of just how cool that land was, which I've kind of always felt. I mean, again, Vikings and dragons are just cool in general. So
even if you're not a fan of the movies.
Even if you just had a Viking and dragons land, you're just like, I'm in. That sounds good. But yeah.
Question, do they have an expansion pad for this one, or do they use it?
I want to say at one point there was, because Isle of Berk is the biggest land.
Yeah.
I want to say at one point there was, but there may not be.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've looked at all that. I know all the other ones do, and there's expansion areas all over the place there, but I can't remember if there's one specifically for Isle of Berk or not.
Okay.
So, all right, well, that's going to be it for the news. So let's move on to our Terra Luna Resort review. So here's a little bit of background. What do we need to know about this, Jamie?
Well, let me tell you, Jared. Universal Terra Luna Resort is Universal's 10th hotel in their collection, and it is a Lowe's hotel, as are the others.
Yes.
They're all Lowe's.
I like how you collection. It's a bit Thanos.
Collection.
Yeah.
It is officially opened as of last Tuesday, March 25th. And this is the sister hotel to Stella Nova Resort that opened in January. And we did stay there a couple days after it opened. And if you want the full review of that, you can go to episode 76, where we talked all about Stella Nova.
And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just link it above. You can click on it. But watch this one first.
Yeah.
And then watch that one.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? So this hotel is...
You just went at people without even... They didn't even do anything yet.
I just moved on.
Apparently.
This hotel is shaped like an L, kind of, or almost kind of like a boomerang. Like if you look at it from the top, kind of looks like a boomerang shape.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. There are 752 queen rooms. There are no suites. There is no other room category. That is all. Mm-hmm. The entire hotel. Early park admission is included in your stay, and parking costs $30 per night.
That's
steep.
That's outrageous.
That's steep.
If I'm being quite honest, that is quite outrageous.
And on the DL here, when I was checking in, the team member asked me if I was driving a car. I said yes, and he goes, "Just so you know, the parking gates are broken." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, they're not working. I don't know why." Like he was in jest, being like, "I'm not going to charge you for parking because the parking gates weren't activated yet."
They automatically just went up.
They just go up. So
I'd like to think that he recognized us and was like, no, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, they probably won't activate them. I actually don't know. I actually don't know when they'll activate them, but they weren't when we checked in on Friday. And I'm guessing they may not do it until closer to Epic Universe opening.
It would make sense, yeah.
Because, I mean, people are parking there to take advantage. I don't know. But anyway,
I mean, obviously, you're going to have people once Epic opens that would try and park there. Because it's way closer to just walk.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute because I got some info about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Dang.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the hotel vibe and the theming. What kind of vibes does this place give off?
Vibes. The vibe is similar to Stella Nova, obviously, but it, quote, was inspired by the thrill of exploring the unknown and pushing the limits of discovery. Its ultra-modern and surreal design evokes visions of an entire solar system of colorful worlds shifting and changing as they orbit the sun. So this one is, I want to say, more earthy. Is it more earthy or more? It says Terra Luna. That's Earth moon.
Right. It's supposed to be more of that. I mean, the lobby and all this is still much like Stella Nova, like lots of whites.
A lot of white.
I think there could have. It depends. Like obviously, you're going with this modern look, and a lot of just whites and curved walls and things makes sense. they didn't have as much color splashes as Stella Nova did. Stella Nova had a little bit of like neon lighting here and there, accent lights more. It could have used some more color, I think.
I mean, they had like those like goldish tones.
They did. It wasn't that it was bad. It obviously depends on, I'm not a big modern aesthetic type person.
Yeah.
I don't really care for that sort of like, I guess you could just say like design. But it's not that it's just a taste thing. But it was very, very similar to Stella Nova. Although the lobby was smaller than Stella Nova.
Okay, was it though? Or did it just feel that way?
It felt smaller. I didn't get my tape measure out, but I can't confirm it for sure. But it did feel smaller. It was just as tall.
Yeah.
But it just felt not as spacious as Stella Nova was. Now it's completely flipped. So at Stella Nova, when you walk in, the food and everything is on your left. And then on your right is the bar and... Well, the bar's in the same place at Terra and Stella, but then to your right is how you get to the rooms at Terra Luna. It is flipped. The food is on your right, and the rooms and amenities are on your left when you walk in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's all laid out where the pool is, all that stuff. It's laid out pretty much identical outside of that.
Yeah. I would say like a cool feature that I really liked was when you go to the restaurant, the top, the like ceiling looked like... I don't know what it was. It was just like wood, I guess, but it looked like it was wavy, like waves on the ceiling.
Oh yeah,
it's like wood slats. I don't know how to explain exactly what it is.
I did like the accents more in the food area.
Yeah,
I will say.
Yeah, the dining area didn't have a ton of tables.
Not a ton.
Not a ton of tables.
Although I think it was probably pretty similar to Stella.
Right, I agree. I totally agree.
Because you these are value pluses, but they don't have the capacity of a typical. Like if you think of like. Endless Summer, Dockside, or Surfside, those have way more rooms than Stella Nova or Terra Luna.
Yeah.
So for that reason, they don't need as much seating. Because if you go into those, obviously the seating and everything, there's way more in there than there is in here. But these just don't hold as many people.
Yeah. Okay, I see that. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the lobby. It's just very white and pops of color here and there.
Yes.
That's it.
Pretty much. Yeah. We'll talk about, let's go and move on to the room, and then we'll talk about some of the other aspects of the hotel. Okay. So we had a standard view room on the 6th floor. It faced Stella Nova, so we got to see the competing hotel. But we could see Epic Universe from our window as well. You'd look to the left, and we could see into like Super Nintendo World a little bit. You could see Isle of Berk a little. Most of the land you could see from the room.
It's pretty cool.
It wasn't a bad view. It wasn't as good as the Stella Nova view was literally, you could see, directly into the park from where you were. Because Terra is a little bit over compared to Terra is a little bit over more than Stella, which we'll talk about location-wise here in a little bit. But yeah, that was our room there. And then, they're basically identical to Stella Nova. I don't even know any differences outside of the picture above the headboard.
Yeah, the planet was different.
The planet was different. But other than that, I think they're literally identical rooms.
The only other thing I noticed was the pillows, the accent pillows on the bed and the couch. In Stella Nova, they were like this peachy color. In this hotel, they were purple.
Oh, true. Yeah,
that was the only other thing I noticed. Everything else was literally the same, which is not bad. They're the same hotel, kind of. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, they're just very consistent across them.
Yeah.
But it's 2 queen. Bathroom has a separate sink outside the shower. Shower's a walk-in shower. No tub. There is that clear partition that also has a drape you can pull along it, so you do have a little bit of a separator there, which is kind of weird that you can remove the separator because you just see directly into the bathroom. I don't know. Either way, you have that you get a little bit of extra, I guess, privacy in the room there.
Yeah,
gives you something there, and then
you get like the fridge, got that little couch with the table.
You still have the offset. Which is weird to my brain, the offset dresser that's also a bench underneath the TV.
So weird.
One thing that's interesting, weird. I don't recall if the TV at Stella swiveled, and this one did.
I don't remember.
I don't either, but this one easily swiveled, which it's nice. It's fine. The TV operated exactly the same.
It said, welcome Lee family. So it's like a smart TV, kind of.
It wasn't a dumb TV.
It wasn't a dumb. Yeah. You are correct.
It had some education to it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it gone to school is what it did. But yeah, room wise, base identical. The one thing I will say, one of our big complaints about Stella Nova was how thin the walls were. I'm going to assume these walls are just as thin, but personally speaking, from our experience, I didn't hear anybody around us.
I don't think there was anybody around us.
There may not have been. I know there were people on the floor. So I can't speak firsthand to if they are still thin. I have every reason to believe they would be. I don't think they built the hotel any different for Terra Luna than they did for Stella Nova. But we talk about Stella Nova, like it was very, very thin walls, like some of the thinnest walls we've ever experienced in a hotel. But I didn't notice it here. It may just the hotel wasn't full, so it could
not at all.
It could have been that nobody was around us very well. But I just want to put that caveat, at least firsthand experience. I didn't hear anything personally. So
yeah, same.
But I'm going to assume they are thin, so just have that as a warning that that's probably the same thing here as at Stella Nova.
Yep.
Anything else about the room? I mean, stuck
Not
out?
really. I mean, if you want to hear more about the rooms in general, you can listen to the last episode. But we pretty much talk about the same stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, the beds were still pretty comfortable, and they're pretty standard size. They feel.
I hate the pillows.
The pillows are a little. Yeah, they're not the best. I'm picky on pillows though.
But like, they literally have nothing to them. They just fall. They just sink in and they become flat. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
They're not my favorite. That's for sure.
Nope.
They also have a little side table too. You can move around in the room if you want to do that.
Oh, I guess outlets. We should mention outlets. There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of outlets. You've got some on near the headboard in the center console. Also, the alarm clock has a little place to put your phone. It has wireless charging capabilities, which I didn't. I looked at it and I was like, huh. And I just put the phone there and then it started charging. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't say it in the room, but you do have that. And then you have outlets on the dresser underneath the TV. You can push a little button and it pops up. So you got like 2 or 3 outlets and then some USB-C outlets there you can do. I will say the water pressure that has been an issue. It was at Stella Nova, and like we even experienced with the toilet and the hot water and cold water. We didn't have any issues in our room, at least.
We probably weren't the first ones in there.
Probably not.
Yeah.
One thing I will say that was annoyance is the air conditioning only runs when people are in the room.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So when you leave, when we got in the room, we turned the air down. It was like at 78 degrees when we got into the room. Turned the air down. It was getting cooler. We left to go to the parks. We come back because I came back early with our son because you guys were still over at Islands riding Hagrid's.
Yeah.
And it was sweltering because it just wasn't running when nobody was in there. I'm sure it's an energy saving thing, but it took probably a good 2 hours for the room to cool down.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that. Now, some people have talked about issues with the motion detectors, with the lighting and things like that at night. Not anything we experienced.
The only thing I noticed is that if I left the light on, like if I left the bathroom light on for a little bit of light for our son who doesn't like it pitch dark, and I didn't go back in the bathroom for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, it shut off.
Yeah.
So they never came on for us automatically, but they did come off. They did shut off. So there was a setting in there for some rooms, I guess, where it was motion detected both ways. Like you walk into a room and the lights turn on.
Yeah.
It did not do that with us. Just when we walked out, it gave a little bit of warning and then it turned off.
Yeah. So that's just something to keep in mind. There have been some issues with the, sensors on the lighting and things like that. I'm sure it's in a way to conserve energy or whatever. But, if you've got a little one or something that likes a little light, I would bring probably a night light or something to not rely on sometimes just cracking a door and having more light in a room. It may not work here. So,
or pack yourself some sticky notes and put them on top of the motion part.
That you could do that.
That's true.
Do that. That is very true. You could do that. All right, well, let's talk about some of the amenities and food. So we'll talk about the Omega Cafe and Market. So this, go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, the quick service restaurant is the Omega Cafe, and that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is from 7 to 11 a.m., lunch is 12 to 5 p.m., and dinner is 5 to 10 p.m. I was looking at this, and I was like, so they don't serve anything for 11 to 12?
Yeah, they close it. I noticed that we were on Saturday, and after breakfast, they had all roped off, and nothing was open in that time period.
That's weird.
Now the grab and go area you can still get stuff from, but just not the order part that go up and order.
I feel like a lot of people still like to eat lunch at like 11:30.
I don't know. Maybe they figure most people are going to be in the parks at that time.
Interesting.
And they just don't want to staff it or something. But yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, so those are the hours for it. And as far as what they serve, I mean, they have some interesting dishes. So we can kind of talk about what we tried.
Well, I feel like that's what we should talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, like we said, we did have dinner and we didn't eat at the same time though.
We did not eat at the same time.
What did you have? What did you have again?
I got the Terra burger, which is
Not terrible.
not
Terra.
terrible, Terra burger.
Not Terra, the person.
Correct.
Terra, Earth Burger.
Yes, I got the Terra burger,
Yes.
which was $16 with the AP discount. I think I paid like $15, $20 or something like that. Double smashed beef patty, cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion pickles, cosmic bun, and chalaya bun? Chala bun? Mm-hmm. I think they meant to put cosmic sauce here on the menu here. It's cosmic sauce and chalaya bun.
Not a cosmic bun.
Right, because they have bun listed twice. I don't think that's accurate.
Right.
They had it's like kind of like a Big Mac sauce or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just fancy sauce, if I'm being quite honest. But yeah, so this really isn't a smash burger if you're thinking of a typical smash burger, but it is thinner, not thin, but they're just like, they're not the big fat patties you typically see. This burger was fantastic. I was shocked how good this was. The Stella burger was fine. It was a little dry-ish and it was a little peppery, at least the one that we had. Okay. This one was a very close version of Five Guys. And I love Five Guys burgers. I don't like the prices for them, which this was close to the prices for a Five Guys burger. But for a quick service hotel burger, I think I told you this. I think it's better than Wimpy's, which we talked about. The best in-park burger I've ever had was at Wimpy's in Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
This was, I highly recommend this. This was fantastic. It was juicy. It was flavorful. The bun was great. Like, I loved it. As a burger, self-proclaimed burger connoisseur, absolutely fantastic. Loved it. And the French fries were simple but very good. Like, they were crispy. I had no complaints about this at all. And especially I hadn't eaten since like noon that day, and it was like 8 o'clock. And maybe that was part of it, but it still was very juicy and flavorful, and I thought it was fantastic.
Nice.
Much better than Stella's. I'll say that much. And then what did you have for dinner that night?
So our daughter and I got in line right at 10. They closed at 10, and I got in line at 9:59. So I was the last order of the night, which made me feel kind of sad, but I was like, sorry, but they're like, you're fine. We're still yipping. I was like, okay. So anyway, I got the Beef It Up. It's $20, and it's marinated steak, broccoli, carrots, charred peppers, fried garlic, onions, mushrooms, sriracha aioli, green onions, toasted sesame seeds. And it's a choice of white rice or quinoa. I chose the rice.
Wise choice. You chose wisely.
And it was, I think with discount, it came up to like 18 or something. So it was a lot of vegetables, which I looked at it on because it had a picture on the menu, and I was like, you know what? I'm in a vegetable mood, so I'm going to go with this because it did have the steak on top of it. I enjoyed this a lot.
Okay.
It was really good. They did have some kind of, I forgot what kind of beans they had on it. Lima beans, maybe? Yeah, I think it was lima beans. Don't care for lima beans, but it wasn't listed on the menu as having on it. So I was like, okay. But anyway, I took those off, but everything else was really good. The sauce was good. The peppers were really good because it says they're charred. They're kind of like crispy a little bit on the outside. The steak was cooked really well. I mean, this is delicious.
Was there a lot of steak?
There were 3 pieces of steak, and they were probably, I would say altogether, it was as big as the palm of my hand.
Okay, that's decent.
So it was more than I expected.
Okay,
let's just say that. So it was very filling too. So I was very happy with it. And it felt like healthy eating it. You know,
right?
It wasn't just like sugary and theme park food. It felt delicious. So.
Okay.
And then our daughter had the cheese pizza, the 7-inch cheese pizza on the kids menu, and that's $9. And it is what it says it is. It is cheese pizza. And it was good size. She ate the whole thing. It was very bread heavy. I guess it was a lot of crust.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't deep dish or anything. It was just like really like hand tossed crust, and the crust was real thick, but it was good. Typical cheese pizza.
She said she really liked it.
Yeah, no complaints there.
Okay. So, that was what we had for dinner. And then the next day we had breakfast.
Yeah.
So what did you have for breakfast?
I had the stuffed French toast. This is $14, and It comes with sweet mascarpone, mixed berries, and sugar dust, which is just confectioner sugar. It was a little too much for me. It's two thick, really thick pieces of bread. And in the middle of it was the mascarpone and the berries, and the berries were also on top. Now I like the berries. The berries I had no problem with, but it was just really sweet, and there's just a lot in the middle. So I could have done a lot without that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't get this again. But I mean, I'm glad I tried it. I may have tried the like chicken and waffle stuff next time, maybe. But I heard this was good, and it is good. It's just a lot. This is definitely shareable.
Oh, it was huge.
Definitely shareable.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not really big on like fruits and things inside of a lot of my dishes, but
he doesn't think it belongs in desserts or.
Well, it's just
sweet things.
personal preference. I just don't like
I know.
but the French toast part was very, very good.
Yeah, it was good. It was just a lot in the middle.
Yeah.
But I don't like icing, so.
Well, there you go.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you have? I forgot.
Well, our daughter got pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
It was like chocolate chip pancakes with like a vanilla sauce on it or something like that.
But it's supposed to have like berries, like mixed berries on it and not chocolate chips.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have it. I don't know.
Maybe our daughter asked for chocolate chips and on it. Either way,
I don't know.
it was solid. I mean, it was a pretty good sized pancake as well off the kids menu.
Big,
so
yeah.
wasn't too bad at all. But I got the breakfast pizza. It is $12. It's crumbled pork sausage, gravy, applewood smoked bacon, scrambled egg, cheddar cheese, and I guess the sauce on it, it says hot chili oil. It's not really what I envisioned as a chili oil. They seem much more of like
It's like sriracha.
almost like a sriracha based sauce. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't spicy. I guess like maybe it was for you, but to me it wasn't too bad. It was solid. It wasn't the traditional type of breakfast pizza I've had before. I kind of think of more of like a pan type one, like a thicker crust. This is like a handmade, kind of like the typical pizzas. Had a lot of egg on it. Not a lot of the like sausage gravy. I could have used more of that, but it was fine. I ate half of it and then ate the half later. But for $12, decent value, decent amount of eggs. It was okay. It was fine. I would probably get this again, and maybe just get the sauce to the side or something. See what it is without the sauce on it, perhaps. But
okay,
it was good. Nothing amazing, but it wasn't bad at all.
I tried it. It was okay. It's a lot of egg. So much egg on it.
Which I was fine with.
I wasn't, but that's just me.
I would rather have more egg than not enough, personally speaking.
Right. But yeah.
So food-wise, I think the food at Terra Luna overall was better than Stella Nova.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I like the food better. The food we tried over at Stella was pretty much what they already also had here. That hot honey pizza I got over there, they also have here.
Yeah, they have a lot of very similar items.
Yeah, there's a couple things here that you can get that's not at Stella, which is what we tried. So
yeah.
I
guess I should mention I did go to the Terra Bar, or is it the Luna Bar? Not Terra Bar. It's the Luna Bar,
which is the lobby bar.
Yeah, I went by myself because Jamie went to bed with the kids. And I talked with a couple of cast member or a team member that was there. That was bartender. Talked to him a lot about Epic Universe. It was very nice. And then ran into a listener. So shout out to you. Hung out for a little bit and chatted. And it was a good experience. I just had a beer, the same beer I had at Stella Nova. So I can't speak to the cocktails they make. But I did talk to the bartender. They make everything there. It's not the same stuff they have at Stella. It's a different menu. So they have very unique drinks there.
No food, just drinks.
No food, just drinks. I think there's like 12 seats at the bar, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the bartenders at both of them are always been very, very nice, very accommodating. And then they have the outdoor bar and a grill area as well. And that's called the Moonrise Bar and Grill. Very same, not the exact same stuff on tap, beer wise at the outdoor bar, but very similar in the things that they serve. And then off to the side, they have the grill section you can walk up to and order stuff there when you're at the pool.
Or you can order straight from your lounge chair.
You can. I saw that.
You can scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the ordering page, and you pick it up at the window.
Did they not deliver? They don't deliver it to your chair?
Not that I know of.
Oh, man.
You have to pick it up.
Well, still, you can just scan a QR code and do that there. So that is nice.
Yep.
And the grill there serves burgers, quesadillas, salads, typical like pool bar type food.
Yeah.
That's the way. We didn't get anything from there. But we looked at the menu. That's what you can get there. You can also get pizza as room service. So if you want food after hours or you don't feel like going downstairs or something, they do have pizza delivery. We didn't do this. Jamie was asking because we didn't know if she's going to make it back in time to get food, but you didn't want pizza.
Right.
But I did call down there. It's only pizza, but you can get pizza delivered to your room. I'm not sure on the pricing. I'm going to guess it's like $15, $20.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably about right.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably the same pizza they serve that you order down in the food area. But you can get that in your room if you would like. So food-wise, quite a few options, food and drinks.
Yeah.
You can check out for that. And let's move on. We'll talk about the amenities a bit here. So we'll talk about the pool. We didn't get to check out the pool at Stella Nova because when we stayed there, it was January and it was freezing. So the pool area was actually shut down.
Yep.
So it was a bit warmer this go around. So we got to check out the pool and all that. And the kids swam in there for a while. And I mean, it's your very typical. There's nothing fancy about this pool. No slides. It does have zero entry. It's got plenty of seating and chairs around it. You've got poolside activities like beanbag toss. You got giant Connect 4, Jenga. So there's games like ping pong table you can play around that. And then they had like pool noodles and things you could get as well that the kids could play with. But I mean, pool wise, anything that stuck out or just pretty typical pool?
10,000 square feet of pool, splash pad, hot tub. And like Jared is saying, the zero entry. It almost looked like an infinity edge to it. Like the filters of where the water goes in and then comes back out was really like it was neat. I had never seen that before. Like it wasn't like it was like a ledge that went up. It just kind of curved up and then it filtered into the concrete.
Yeah, no, it was. I like that. Yeah, it was a big pool. It wasn't deep. I think deep as it goes, it's like 4 feet maybe.
4 feet 10 inches, so just under 5, and it's shaped like a moon.
It is shaped like a moon.
Crescent moon.
Yeah, and it's got palm trees around it. Like it's a basic pool setup, but it was relaxing. You could sit there and get drinks and chill out. And you had umbrellas, plenty of umbrellas. Like I said, the pool when we were in there, it wasn't even close to full. So it wasn't hard to find a place. I imagine if this thing is fully booked, it may be difficult to get a chair or something like that.
Maybe.
But
I did ask one of the pool team members, just curious what he would say because I wasn't sure the rules yet. But I asked him, because Terra and Stella are like sister hotels, does that mean if we're a guest at Terra Luna, can we go swim at Stella Nova? And I don't think he knew the answer to that because he was kind of wishy-washy about it. He said, but if you were staying here and you went over to Stella Nova and asked if you could swim, they probably would say yes. I was like, okay, great. So I don't know if they know yet.
I mean, there's not a lot of huge differences between the pools.
I know, but like, what if you have people staying in a different hotel? Like,
well,
what if you want to go swim?
At some point, I don't know if it's still a thing. You used to be able to go to any of the Universal pools if you were staying at Universal property.
So you can still do this, but it doesn't include the new Terra Luna and Stella Nova.
Okay.
And it doesn't include Dockside and Surfside. So Dockside and Surfside, you can go back and forth to those, but none of the other hotels.
Okay.
Just those two. The other hotels, Cabana Bay, Sapphire Falls, Aventura, all those, there you can kind of pool hop. And they don't really advertise this. So
yeah, it's kind of
just kind of like something you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Talk real quick too about the fitness center that they have, another amenity. Which is one thing I love about the Universal Value Resorts is they all have fitness centers, which I think is very great. As a meathead, I like that. This one, it's open 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Very similar to Stella. You have views of the pool, and you enter and exit from the pool area or in the first floor of the hotel past the elevators. This one was smaller than the one at Stella, very similar in the equipment, but just wasn't as big square footage-wise. So mostly machines, some dumbbells, some kettlebells, a lot of treadmills, cardio equipment and things like that. They did have restrooms and locker rooms you could check out, water and stuff in there. But, it is a nice amenity for a value level hotel to have a fitness center. So they do have that you can utilize, and you can run on a treadmill while looking at people enjoying the pool. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you can do that. So that one, again, pretty solid. They also had a game room, basically identical to the one at Stella. Pretty small, modest size there. They have a lot of Mario stuff. You can get the claw machines that have the stuffed animals and things like that. They got a basketball game. So the lowest price that you can get on a card though is $15.
Okay.
So if you want to spend $15 or more, you can do that. I did not want to do that, so we didn't do that, but you can check that out. So if it's a rainy day or something, give the kids something to do. Most kids enjoy game rooms like that. They also have the Universal Studios store where you can get merchandise. A lot of Epic Universe stuff in there.
I did ask a team member. I was like, hey, do you have any specific Terra Luna Resort merchandise? And she said, no, we don't, but it's still early. I think we're going to get some soon. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. They haven't had any at Stella or Terra, but a lot of Epic Universe stuff. They did have some new stuff like Nintendo stuff in there. They had a reversible plushie that was like kind of like a pillow, but it was like it could be the Nintendo Star where you could reverse it and it was a power-up block.
That's awesome.
It was $37, I believe, is what it was. But
that's really cool.
I was almost tempted to get that. But
oh, man.
I'm probably going to get popcorn buckets that have that stuff instead. But yeah, they had some cool stuff, and then they even had wands. They had some of the newer Dark Universe merchandise in there. So they had a lot of stuff in there that will be available in Epic Universe, but you could get ahead of time. And they also had just your basic, like, baby stuff. You could get sunscreen, like Tylenol, stuff like that. You could get in there as well. So
yeah.
All right, just a couple of notes we'll say. They have an Eclipse hallway on the third floor. So it's Stella Nova.
That's what I'm calling it, Eclipse hallway.
Yeah, because at Stella Nova, they have basically there's a section on the third floor of both Stella and Terra that are above the lobby. And the lobby ceiling is so high, they didn't put any rooms in this area. So it's just a long hallway. So at Stella, they have sort of an LED, sort of like starlight ceiling you can check out over there, which is kind of cool. Over here at Terra, it's just a solid lighting fixtures that kind of have I guess, eclipse look to them, like a moon. Nothing. Honestly, it's not worth going up to check out. It's a long hallway.
It's just the ceiling.
It's it's nothing to make a special trip for, but
not like a Stella.
No, not like a Stella at all. There is a hologram effect in the lobby also.
Looks like there's a planet in this in the hole in the wall, and it looks like the planet like follows you as you walk.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know.
I
play with it for a little bit.
Yeah. They also have bag service. They have Avis car rental center and stuff like that, and you can check out the lobby as well. But okay, in terms of location, and I think this is going to be a major point about this hotel and Stella Nova.
Yeah.
The walk from Terra Luna, the porte cochere, if you will, to Epic Universe entrance is about 25 minutes if you take the pedestrian walkways.
But the pedestrian walkways are not fully functional yet.
Not yet.
They don't have them already. So if you try to do that before the park opens, you may have some trouble. You may be risking not your life, but like you just
Frogger in the middle of the road. I don't know if that's what you want to do.
So it's not the easiest to get from Terra Luna to Stella Nova, where you can then cross the street to get to Epic. So I just wouldn't do it yet, not until that park actually opens, because then it'll be easier. You can still take a bus from Terra Luna to Epic when it opens. I'm sure you can.
Yes, they will have that.
Yeah, and so if you didn't want to walk at all, that is still an option. And honestly, from Terra Luna, if it's hot that day and you don't want to be out in the heat any longer than you have to, it's a 25-minute walk. I'm taking the bus.
I mean, I would say depends on your pace. Yeah. I think for me, it may be a 15-minute walk.
But for Stella, 15 if you walk briskly is what people say.
Right, so I'm making it in 12.
But like if you're coming from Stella Nova, I would just walk from there. I mean, it's like 10 minutes and that's it.
Yeah, I think location-wise, Stella Nova is a much better location if your whole thing is being close to Epic Universe.
Yeah.
It's a straight shot there. Terra's off to the side a little bit. So I would agree, especially if you got a family, probably take the bus to Epic, but you could walk over there, but it's not as easy of a walk for sure. I mean, from Stella Nova to Epic Universe, you're probably talking maybe a 10-minute walk down the walkway, get across there, because you go right across crosswalk and you're right in the area there. So so location wise, that's kind of where it sets there. We should also mention the buses will also take you to City Walk and Epic.
And Volcano Bay.
So they have those new electric buses, by the way, which we rode on. Very quiet.
They're very quiet.
I realized halfway through, I'm like, wait a minute, it's really quiet in here, and it's because they're electric buses.
And if you're curious, it takes you about 15 minutes with mid-traffic to get from Terra Luna to City Walk.
Yeah, and we did go on the dedicated bus lanes that they have.
We did. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Okay, Terra Luna, Stella Nova.
Yeah.
Very similar, subtle differences between the two. What would you say, just comparing the hotels, which one do you like better? And then which one would you recommend? Let's say people are wanting to stay at one of them for access to Epic Universe.
Well, personally for me, I like the the difference aesthetic in Terra Luna. I like that it's more earthy, and I liked that, like I said, I like the ceiling at Omega Cafe. I like that there's a little more difference of color over there. Actually like the layout a little better too. But if you're going to stay there for Epic Universe and you want the ease of just walking across the street, Stella Nova is a no-brainer. I mean, if the prices are very similar, then why would you not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would probably always choose Stella over Terra. The differences aren't enough to make me choose Terra.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, they're
it's so close though. So.
yeah. I mean, they're both very close. They're very subtle differences. I do think the food's a bit better at Terra for whatever reason. Maybe Stella's has gotten improved since we stayed there when it first opened. We were there like the second day, so maybe it has gotten better. Yeah. But I think in general, I agree. I think I kind of like Terra a little bit more. But the location for Stella and the differences aren't enough to say don't stay at Stella Nova. Or, to not say stay at Terra Luna over Stella Nova. So I would say Stella Nova is still the one. If you're wanting close access to Epic Universe, Stella Nova is your best shot for that.
Terra Luna was probably going to also be a little bit cheaper per night because of where it's located a little bit farther from Epic Universe. So I just picked a random date in June 6th and 7th. That's a Friday night. And right now, just a regular rack rate for Stella Nova is $342. For Terra Luna, it's $301. So about a $41 difference.
Okay.
Like I said, that doesn't include any packages, doesn't include any discounts at all, but that is the difference in pricing. So if you want to stay closer to Epic, you're going to pay for it. If you don't mind staying a little bit farther away, but still close enough to be more convenient, then, go with Terra Luna. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Well, would you stay here again?
I would stay here again if Stella Nova wasn't available or it was more expensive.
Yeah, like I
it
agree.
Would be my first choice.
Yeah, I agree. I think like when we're going for the opening of Epic, we're actually staying at is it Dockside?
It's Surf. Wait, which one? One of those.
Surfside, Dockside. Basically the same thing as Stella Nova and Terra Luna.
Yeah,
they're similarly the same hotel. Just because of the additional space. Because we're going to have your mom with us and the kids, so we've got the one extra bedroom there. So
and Stella and Terra don't have.
They don't have that. So for us, we're staying there, and we'll probably just take a bus over. But if we were just say me and you going specifically just for Epic Universe, I would totally stay at Stella Nova.
100%.
Because you could just, especially you get the early park access, you can just walk right over there.
Yep.
You're going to be ahead of the game on most people by being able to do that. And again,
Absolutely.
the price point of a value hotel within walking distance of a theme park is pretty astonishing.
For real.
So, yeah, I mean, again, the biggest caveat being the thin walls. I'm going to presume those are also at Terra. I think that is something to keep in mind. But overall, it's a very solid hotel.
Yeah. Solid
amenities in a value category, location, price. I mean, it's really difficult to beat what you're getting with these two hotels.
Yeah. If you go in knowing like, okay, this is a value hotel. I want to go to Epic most of the time, maybe City Walk, maybe to the other 2 or 3 parks that I want to go to, like fine. Just know what you're getting, which is, there's not much to it, which is okay. It is what it is.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yep.
Solid amenities for that category, but nothing that's like going to be amazing. No club level or and stuff like that. Just very basic, amenities. But
yep.
I mean, I would give it, I would say a scale of 1 to 10. I would say in the value category, I'll give it, I'd say like an 8.
Yeah. 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. Not? So that's what I would say there. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the show, as I think we talked everything about what we intended to talk about. Be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere. And be sure to check out the Cap the Magic YouTube channel, where I have daily videos on theme parks, pop culture, and things like that. We're over 11,000 subs now, so it's going well over there. So be sure to subscribe, check those out. And of course, if you want video versions of the show here, go to CTM Podcast on YouTube to check those out. And we also have other shows on the network. We have the Disney show, which we do every Thursday. You can catch on its own feed and also over here on YouTube. And Jamie also has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show.
Yep, and I will have another episode out in April. If you want to be a guest on a future Trip Tales episode, you can go to ctmtriptales.com, fill out the information about your trip, and I will get back to you if your trip is something I'm interested in covering for the show.
There you go. And like I said before, we have memberships on the YouTube channel here. So if you become a member here, get extra perks, support the show, things like that, you can do that on here on YouTube. Somewhere on the screen here, you can become a member. And if you did that, we would be forever in your debt and help us continue to do what we do and grow the show and keep reviewing and doing all sorts of cool stuff here.
Reviewing and doing.
There we go. Reviewing and doing.
Literally, that's what you said.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.